So, a 40-plus blowout by the Indiana Pacers without Oladipo, losing to the Philadelphia 76ers in a huge margin, and then blowing a game against the Atlanta Hawks, as well as a couple of other questionable losses throughout the season. Yeah, the Los Angeles Lakers are bad, or at least nowhere near as good as many people anticipated. And instead of just firing the head coach, in today's video I'm going to point out the problems with the Los Angeles Lakers, my thoughts on what they could possibly do to change their problems, and potentially what to expect moving forward, as the expectations have definitely changed now that we're at a point where they have a losing record and we're at the All-Star break. And if you want to watch the Los Angeles Lakers, or at least watch your favorite team beat up on the Los Angeles Lakers because defensively they have been horrendous within the last 10 to 15 games, today's sponsors will always have your back in SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a platform that allows its users to buy tickets to certain events that they want to attend. Regardless if it's a comedy show, a concert, or again, watching your favorite team just beat up on the Los Angeles Lakers, SeatGeek will always have your back. And what makes SeatGeek so unique is their ability to find really good tickets at a really good price. And how they do this is by showing you the seats and where they are located in the stadium, color coordinating each seat depending on how good the pricing is in contrast to where the seat is located, so you can make sure you get really good tickets and a good view at whatever you're trying to watch at a really good price. And to make it even better, you can actually click on the seat itself and it'll give you a picture depicting where exactly in the arena you're going to be at and if you're going to have a good angle at all of the action. And if any of this sounds interesting to you, I have great news for you. All you have to do is go to SeatGeek and purchase your tickets so you can have a grand old time at any event that you want to attend. And also, SeatGeek is allowing me to give all of their first-time users a promo code to get $20 off on their first purchase. All you have to do is type in LOW for the promo code or click the link in the description, and again, you'll get $20 off on your first purchase. And with that out of the way, thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. Now back to the Los Angeles Lakers. And before I start to spread some of my opinions in this video, let's talk about facts, because I think a lot of people are just casually overlooking some of the facts that come with the Los Angeles Lakers this season. For starters, the Los Angeles Lakers right now have a losing record of 28-29. However, defensively, despite the fact that many people are making arguments that they are a poor defensive team, they're actually still one of the top 11 to 12 defensive teams in the NBA today. However, offensively, they have been horrendous, and they've been horrendous for a majority of the season. A huge reason for this is because the Lakers are a terrible free throw shooting team and a horrendous three-point shooting team, something that many people, including myself, speculated that they were going to struggle with throughout the entire season before the year even began. However, things have changed for the worse within the last 15 games. Because within the last 15 games, the Los Angeles Lakers have a record of only 5-10, and not only are they still a really bad offensive team, but defensively, they have been horrendous. And this is just my opinion on why this is. I do believe Lonzo and his impact on the court has a lot to do with it because he has missed a huge chunk of the last 15 games. Now, since we're talking about defense, let me share some clarifications with you all so you understand why the defensive metrics aren't necessarily the greatest depiction for the Los Angeles Lakers. Because see, the Los Angeles Lakers, they play a very dangerous game defensively. The reason why I say this is because the Los Angeles Lakers have one of the highest paces in the NBA. Consequently, that means that their opponent is going to score a lot of points, and so granted their defensive rating, which is based off of their pace, is going to be relatively above average, borderline elite in some months. That still doesn't necessarily do them any justice, especially when they struggle offensively. I think a lot of teams over the past 10 to 15 years, especially even in the early 2000s and late 90s, their best defense has been just slowing down the opposing team and running a slower pace offense, which means that they weren't going to give their opponent more possession to score more points. And that's where the Lakers kind of struggle. Furthermore, when it comes to their defensive interior presence, the Los Angeles Lakers are horrific. It doesn't matter who they face, but any big man who has any offensive talents to his game will be able to go off on the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers, it's really hard to pinpoint one or two players, especially because the Lakers like to switch a lot. However, if there is one player that I have to point out who is a horrendous defender, It is LeBron, and sometimes it's just frustrating to watch him play defense because there is a massive lack of effort that is obvious to even the casual fan. And the thing that's even more annoying is that the Lakers actually put LeBron in a very favorable situation to play defense, at least at an average to above average rate. The Lakers don't ask LeBron to immediately pick up the opposing team's best offensive player. He at times almost calls audibles defensively where he just forces other teammates to switch on players that he doesn't want to defend. And even on pick and rolls, there are a lot of players who are still surrounding LeBron to help him, but there are multiple times where LeBron just doesn't show any effort whatsoever to defend the player that is in front of him. But also when it comes to just contesting shot attempts, LeBron is terrible at this as well. On average, LeBron only contests 3 2-pointers on a game-to-game basis and 2 3-pointers on a game-to-game basis. To put that in context, there are players such as Brent Forbes, who plays less minutes than LeBron, yet somehow, some way contests the same amount of shots that LeBron does. And so when you theoretically have your leader not showing any effort on a defensive end, I think at some point, especially since Lonzo has not been in the lineup within the last handful of games, those type of bad habits tend to be the depiction of what a team is able to do on a defensive end, despite the fact for the majority of the season they've actually been a pretty good defensive unit. And then we go on an offensive end. The Los Angeles Lakers are horrible offensively. There's never really been a moment throughout the season where they have been a consistent offensive team, and like I said before, because of the pace in which they run at, it really puts them at a massive disadvantage if they're not able to keep up with the opposing team offensively because they're allowing so many points to be scored from their opponent. And when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers, there are a few things that you could point out. Now, my honest opinion is that they really don't have any identity or direction offensively. When LeBron is on the floor and the ball is in his hands, they like to run more pick and roll actions, try to get LeBron as close as he can to the basket, and try to get whatever shooters that they do have on the floor open. But when he's off the floor, there's a lot more ball movement, a lot more player movement. Players are trying to cut to the basket and finish around the rim. And so you have these two groups of players who are trying to coexist with one another, despite the fact that their playing style doesn't mesh well with one another whatsoever. Now, personally, I blame Magic Johnson, Rob Pelinka, and LeBron for the players that are on this roster. I don't know why many people were trying to be optimistic on this idea of putting a whole bunch of ball handlers around LeBron and adding players such as Lance Stevenson, Rondo, and Michael Beasley instead of just going after shooters. And this was a massive problem that I had before the season began, and you can clearly see the effects of it in a lot of their statistical categories, especially in the 3-point percentage and the free throw percentage, as the Los Angeles Lakers have consistently been one of, if not the worst free throw shooting team in the NBA. And so when people sit here and make arguments claiming that Luke Walton should be fired, I have a hard time understanding that, especially when Luke Walton has consistently coached his team, not just this year, but last year as well, as one of the better defensive units in the NBA. And then when it comes to the lack of offensive presence on this team, I would argue a bigger reason for this has to do with the personnel that's on the roster, which falls under the responsibility of Magic Johnson, Rob Pelinka, and yes, even LeBron James, as there have been multiple reports claiming that LeBron aided the process in picking some of those veterans to fill out the roster. So what does this mean for the Lakers? Like I said before, they have a record of 28-29, the 10th best record in the Western Conference, and regardless of what stretch of games you're referring to, the Los Angeles Lakers are one of the worst offensive teams in the NBA. Because of this, I would argue that they should probably slow down their pace a little bit just so they don't give more opportunities to their opponent to score more points. But hey, what do I know? But what I do know is this. The Los Angeles Lakers only have 25 games left in the regular season, which means that the Los Angeles Lakers would have to win 20 of the next 25 games just to be a 48-win team. In light of the fact that they still have to play the Houston Rockets, Golden State Warriors, Oklahoma City Thunder, the Toronto Raptors, and the Milwaukee Bucks twice, and a couple of other really good teams in the process as well. And even for the people out there who want to make the ridiculous argument that, well, before LeBron got hurt, they were the 4th best team in the West, well, he got hurt, so let's not act as if like that's not reality. B, the Los Angeles Lakers were not even at the halfway mark of the season, and C, and more importantly, the Lakers with LeBron playing have a record of 22-17, which means with LeBron that the Lakers are only on a 46-win pace, which if that were to translate to right now, the Lakers would be the 7th or 8th seed. And so for the people out there who want to make the argument that, well, LeBron was hurt, even with LeBron being healthy and playing those games, the Lakers are still underachieving pretty significantly to a lot of people's expectations. And again, with the Los Angeles Lakers having a pretty tough schedule for the rest of the season, it really would not surprise me whatsoever if the Lakers were to miss the playoffs. And with that being said, I want to give a huge shout out to SeatGeek again for sponsoring this video. Make sure you click the link in the description, promo code LOW for $20 off on your first purchase. And also in the comment section below, let me know what you think about the Los Angeles Lakers. Let me know if you think Luke Walton should be fired, or do you think it's more so a Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka problem, and everything else that you could possibly think of with the Los Angeles Lakers. Hit the subscribe button, like button, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.